specific aim and the individual aims in that papers, like separate aim, like how it, wait a minute.
Yeah, so the hypothesis, if I gave you a paper to do the project from, or you chose a paper, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you gave us a paper.
You gave us.
In which paper are you doing it on?
It's the one about the injured muscles, and the
okay,
title
yes,
is
okay,
yeah,
right.
injury regulated systemic
Yes.
factors.
So basically, as I explained before, for the paper, each student writes their own introduction about what the paper's experiments are meant to address. So what's the background information that allowed the research group to develop a hypothesis, which is the question that they wish to answer in the experiments. So even though the hypothesis in the background for every single for every single student, the hypothesis in the background will be the same.
Yeah.
You need to individually write what you think the background information was and the hypothesis that was derived from that background information. So even though that will be the same across all students, you need to write that up, because that is the basis that the individual experiments in the paper were derived from.
And you said we need to write 1 to 2 specific aim based on the hypothesis.
Right.
And there's like 3 specific aim here. Like the first is to figure out if the HGFA is sufficient to induce the G alert transition of stem cell.
Right.
Second is to figure out if HGFA is a factor in injury serum that stimulates G alert transition of MUSC and the FAPS. And the third aim is to figure out if the HGFA is prior to an injury accelerates the process of tissue repair. Like
Right.
these are 3 separate aims.
Right.
Like, do we need to like write each of the specific aim and describe how each method is used in each 3 aims, or we like choose 1, 2, or 2?
All you need to do, because there's 3 of you in the group, is write one of the specific aims for the paper.
Oh, like so each of us choose one of the specific aim in the paper.
Right, and then the methods that were used to address the aim.
Yeah.
Okay, so that when you present your presentation, you're gonna say, here's the experiments that address this specific aim.
Thanks. And another question, like you said, we can include like figures in the in our writing, right? Does the figure include in the page limits?
The figures, okay, the figures are incorporated. The overall text should be about 6 pages.
Yes.
And the figures get integrated into the text so that you put the figures, if you saw, I gave you examples. So, so the figures get integrated with the legend in the text.
Yeah. So it's included in the 6th page, right?
That's correct.
Thanks.
Okay, and then when you do your specific aim and the figures, then add a little bit of discussion to discuss what the figure showed and the controls that were done to validate the figure and how that relates to answering the specific aim.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is the standard way. The course is designed on the premise that the course is offered as an elective for a PhD program, which is the PhD program that I work with, which is molecular and translational medicine. And the course is designed to parallel the requirements for that program that where our qualifying exam is based on writing a research project and then presenting the hypothesis and aims that would normally be integrated into a PhD thesis. So the test is modeled on writing a paper that's very comparable to the qualifying exam that we produce for our program. So the teaching exercise is to get a student to look at a project and define its specific aims and then, or hypothesis, and then specific experiments with designs and ways to answer questions related to testing the hypothesis.
Thanks.
Okay, so the idea of this test is to make you think about how do I formulate a research question as a hypothetical, and how do I design specific aims to test that hypothetical, and what's the experiment, what's the controls I need to do so that I know that I got the right answer. So for students that actually have their own experiments that they're doing, some of the students in the course will actually use their own projects. For students that are starting out that have no projects, basically you can use a paper that from the literature that allows you to look at, well, how does another scientist formulate a hypothetical and design experiments?
Thanks.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I have no extra questions. So
okay.
See you. Have a nice day.
Okay. And what about you, Colette? Do you understand what is expected?
Yes, from most of the answers given to my classmate, classmate,
Mm-hmm.
I can answer and I have a clearer idea of what is expected from us.
Okay.
Personally, as I see, he left the room. But there are, like, besides this, let me just try and finish up. You know that in the case of the master students, in my particular case, I didn't have a research project yet. I've been in the process of formulating one. I actually have been in contact with a professor that I'm interested in a line of investigation, and we've been talking about coming to his lab and learning more about the procedures. So I think that I will soon. The thing is that biochemistry hasn't really leave much time to do anything. This biochemistry is unbelievable. But I'm happy that even though I came in late and all that, I have a passing grade. I need just to keep it up for the last exam. So I've gotten at least a passing grade, low, but passing grade on each one of the tests, the formal exams. The quizzes are another thing, which we go eyeing up, but on average, which is a very stressful subject, to the point that I consider that it takes away so much time, because this subject, for me, for what I'm interested in, is the most important, biotechnology. But then there's not really much time, because we have quizzes almost every other week, and it's unbelievable. But still so.
Which is the course that is the quizzes in?
Biochemistry has a quiz every other week, and sometimes every week.
Right.
It's been intense. And then the contents are like in the hundreds of slides. So yes, so it hasn't been easy. Plus, personally, and I don't know if it's the case for the other classmates who I see also struggle with English, it's not easy. But well, that related to the project, at least I have a clear idea. And
okay, so the project, though, what you should do with the two other people that are part of your project team is talk about so that paper that I provided is a relatively short paper.
Yes.
And it has three figures in it.
Yes.
So between your three classmates, you want to make sure that you take the figure that one of those three figures is the one that you discuss in the context of writing your paper.
Exactly.
Okay, so you want to work with the two other students that you are working with to make sure that you don't duplicate what they're doing.
Exactly.
Right. And then as far as the presentation goes, the presentation, what you do is you will present, each student has 10 minutes to present their part of the paper. And so you want to present a mini hypothesis that relates to your figures, which is a couple, so, and then show the figure and then say, well, this is the figure. So you can take the figure right out of the paper that you're using as an example of the data that you're showing. Now, the questions that the professors ask will be about, okay, they did this experiment. What are the controls that they did for this technology that are important for the, the experiment that you presented?
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you want to make sure that when you look at those figures and you present them, that you also have read the paper and even the supplemental information with the paper, so that you understand what the controls were that they did, or any other experiments that they did, to make sure that that experiment was correctly executed.
Okay, all right.
Okay, because the professors, after the presentation, they're going to ask you questions. So it's like a mini oral exam that makes sure that you understand what you presented as far as the
technology applied. Okay.
Technology.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for your time on a Sunday.
Okay, now what coursework are you taking next term? Besides,
yes, for that, I sent you an email. If you hold on a moment, let me get it, with the information of the.
Okay, so it was in an email? Is that correct?
Yes, an email.
Okay, I'll look through the email and make sure.
I can pull it out right here. Let me just get. I'm almost there.
Okay, well, I have to sign in because I'm not.
Okay. I think it's this one. Oh, I can't find it now.
Okay, let me. I can usually search my emails.
I usually put a star on these kind of messages.
Okay, 1 second. So, do you know what date it was?
It must have been not too long ago. It said something about add and drop.
Okay, add drop.
And then
so yeah, so 2 credits each. Okay. Okay, add drop. There was 2 of them here. One was for related medical science, organ systems, and molecules. Okay, the 1 cell is a stem cell course, and then practicum.
Yes.
Yeah,
the 23rd, I think it was that I sent it.
Yeah, now he wants to come back in.
The 23rd, I sent you for spring.
Right, yes.
Elected the subjects, and I had organ system disease, molecules.
Yeah, so yes, yeah. So the statistics, organs, organ systems. I'll look at my big thing will be to add up the credits for you to make sure that you need to have by the end of spring term 28 credits so that the program ends in the summer with 4 credits that comes from the practicum. So I'll look at your credits to make sure that you have the 28, because you really need 28 or 29. I think most students.
I think I'm missing one, because for what I can see here, in this semester right now, I have 6 credits for biochemistry. I think it is 2 credits for histopathology, that's 8. And I believe this one is 4, right?
3.
3. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11.
And then you should have 2 of medical related research.
11, 12,
13.
13.
Right.
So if I'm 13 in the first semester, and in the second, for what I see here, I have 2 and 2 is 4, plus 4, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 here.
Yeah.
In the papers.
You need 15.
Wow, that'd be so many subjects, because already I have 5.
Okay, so you have 4 for practicum, 2 for molecules,
That's 8,
2 for organ.
9, 10, 11, 12.
You have 2 for medical related research. You should have 2 for biostatistics. So it's 6, 8, 10, 12. You need 4 more credits.
Wow.
Okay, I'll have to look. Let me.
Then I should have had more credits on the first one then.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my Lord.
You came in late. That was the issue.
So be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Let me look at what you have in the
9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 here. Probably gonna need to add another one. I thought about maybe I needed another one. I wasn't sure.
Let me just see what you have here for faculty link.
That's 8, 8.
Okay, advisee list. Anders. Transcript review. So you have no, histopathology is a 4 credit course. So you have.
Oh yes.
You have.
4 histo.
You have the right number of credits.
Really? Let me see.
You
That's
have
10.
You
I have 13.
You have 15 credits. You have histopathology, biochem, and biocore technology.
Oh, okay. Biochem, right? Biochem is 6. Histo is 4. Technology is 3, and the extra one that's 10. 15. Yes, okay, I have 15 for the first one.
Yes.
So 15 plus 12, I'm still short.
So it's 15.
Short 1.
Okay, it's 15. You need 14 credits for next term.
I need another subject of 2 credits.
Let me add them up. You have 6, 8, 10, 12. You need 1 more course.
For the second.
Yes.
Is there, like in this first semester, any subject that is like independent? No. Is there?
No. You need another 2 credit course for next term.
That'll be 6 subjects.
Well, each of those courses, organs and molecules, meets 1 time a week for 2 hours. So they're only 2-hour lectures.
I'm just picturing the nightmare that this one subject is, and I'm just thinking more subjects and that in that level will be crazy. Okay, so two more credits. So, okay, that last document, then in that form that I sent you, one of them has one empty space that allows one more credit, one more subject
Yeah.
to be added.
Yeah.
What I can do is that I resend you. I'm gonna look to see which one I will have to add then, or do you suggest removing one of the low credits and adding? Is there any suggestion of
Well,
subjects?
I sent a list of subjects. I'd have to look at it. You know,
I took both. I took the both of your suggestions, which were organ systems and molecules.
The other course that I think is a 2-credit course is there's a 2-credit immunology course. I'd have to look at the list. I don't have the list up in front of me right now.
Okay.
Send me an email and I'll look at it later today or on Monday at some point and come up with a shorter list of other courses.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll check it also again to see if there was one maybe I left out.
Okay.
Of the suggestions. Okay. That I think with that we have advanced everything. I think, do we?
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Is there any chance, this is a special request, is there any chance that the points for flow cytometry could be reconsidered?
You know, it's
like
really hard for
heavy.
me. Yeah, the Dr. Bakina and Kerber like to grade their own test questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I normally, if faculty want to write their test questions, I don't interfere with how they write their test questions.
No, I'm not asking to reconsider like the grading or changing her grades, but the percentage given to flow cytometry in my consideration, this is my personal observation.
Yeah.
I'm an educator too. I am old. This is, as I said, this is my second chance in life to get education done right, with the scholarship.
Yeah.
I've been an educator for 21 years. I'm 45 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a blessing for me. And as an educator, I consider personally, this is just from the educator perspective, that considering so many different topics that were covered, and especially for us in the masters who are probably exposed, and for what I have talked with the classmates, many of them were exposed for the first time to many of these contents.
Right.
And we were trying to like address all of them. And even though I consider also that flow cytometry is a very important one, the percentage as being 1/3 of the grade when there were 7 topics is kind of like, I consider that it's in your hands, to your goodwill, to maybe just like readjust a little. Who knows, maybe at 25% instead of a 32, we'll have and that will be on you based on how you also saw the grades of everyone.
Yeah, at the end of the term, I look at the final and the paper are 60%, and the participation is 10%. So that's 70% of the total grade. So there's a lot of opportunity at the end of the course to bring the grade up from a deficient point of view for the midterm. So the midterm really doesn't represent 50% of the grade. It's only 30%.
Okay.
So I think that you've come to all the classes, you participated, so that's 10 points right there. So
I wish I could have participated more.
Yeah.
Because it was like I would be like another very polite and kind, because sometimes language barrier can make you come across as you're using just translations, right? And you lose the tact that is required. And I always try to be careful with that. But like having the content for us to read before class, or at least to check, because for me it was like I would sit there and it was just flashing information that I had no chance to at least look at. I think even if that would help.
Yeah, I think that the other issue as to why we made content available after the lecture is many times, and this again comes from my faculty, is many faculty don't want to present the material before the lecture. Because it's posted, then students don't show up to the lecture. So a lot of my faculty don't like posting prior to the lecture, simply because the students then ditch the lecture. So then they come and they're lecturing to an empty room. So again, some of the way I run the course is based on the sort of what my faculty want, because if I taught every lecture, I could accommodate how I want to run it. But if I have other lecturers come in to do their part of the course, then I really I'm dependent on them saying to me, this is how I like it. So I try to develop a consensus on a team-led course on how to present the material. So it's very hard to balance how I like to structure it versus what the other faculty that participate, how they like to structure it. So to some degree, I'm at the sort of the way I run it is based on the consensus I develop with my faculty.
I see.
So again, like I said, some people really don't want to post their material before the lecture, just because students end up ditching the lecture. Because they don't, many times students look at their 10 points and they I don't know.
Can I also, I'm just taking the opportunity to bring on all these things that I thought of, and you decide what can work or not. But also it would be very helpful if flow cytometry is going to be like what's going to be more like the heaviest percentage. It would be good that same practice that she gave us for the exam, like she would bring it on or be suggested to bring at least one practice to the class. Because there was a lot of analysis on a problem that I felt that we didn't have the tools and instead of being so theoretical with so many PowerPoints, that to bring, like have a special day or hour design, let's analyze something similar to what we're going to do in the exam.
Right. So
that would be really helpful.
Yeah. So more practicum time is something that everybody has brought up relative to this year. I need to figure out how to restructure the didactic information, which is the theoretical background information, relative to practical use. And that's always a problem because it's a 3-credit course. The only way I can get more time to have practical use is to make the course 4 credits. And then it would involve another day with, so instead of, so again, it's kind of like, how do I find more time to present things? And, again, it's something where I look at the curriculum and say, well, what do students need for theory of how something works? And so one of the things I know that we're going to try to recapture is some time to spend more time on image J, because it's relative
and flow cytometry practice problem, please.
Well, again, I have to figure out how to structure the time I have to present practical use of tools. So it's just a matter of looking at the curriculum, but I can't do that. It is what it is this year, and then I can think about how to fix it next year.
Okay. All right. Well, if you next semester need a professor assistant, I have my certificates in higher education and experience in technology. So let me know, like education, everything related to that. I'll be more than glad to help.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not going to take more of your Sunday time.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I'll be emailing you the rest of the information regarding the add and drop.
Okay. Thank you.
I think the classmate Gulsan. Do you have a question? Are you here?
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah.
Hello. Good morning.
in our paper only have two methods. So how we use three of us, these two methods?
Well, as I said, when I talked about this paper, you can take one of the figures. Each of you can present one of the three figures that's in the paper, and equally talk about the technologies in the figure.
But we should write also something like writing individual. So
you have to write your paper has to be individually written.
Each one of us is to write a paper. I have some notes, Gulsan. I don't know if that might help you about this meeting. If you like, I can have it be sent to you. I can send it to you after, if that helps.
Okay.
Or I don't know if you will have more questions in relation to that, or I'll just leave you guys so you guys continue and you probably have an opportunity to ask any other, right? But I can also send you my notes, okay?
Okay.
All right, Professor.
Okay, all right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Perfecto.